This is your axle flange right here. You gotta cut this off and then drill the holes for the disc brake backing plate that goes on. You can see we got the axles back out. We definitely got the longer wheel studs that we talked about. Let me get these two right here underneath you. This was the original wheel stud before, and this is the length that we're putting on now. You know, that longer length will give us the extra threads for the depth of the wheel spacing on the Forgiatos.
VTSV handy dandy bearing setting tool made out of the old bearing and washers and welding and an old dead bolt. You know, because for some reason I couldn't quite find the exact one I needed, so it was time to improvise. Nice. Now we can put the seals in, and we can complete the job finally. These you got to be a little more gentle with because this is thinner metal. See how tight these things are? See how the green coating, the sealing coating on these just rolls right off the edges?
Wow. So we're finishing up the brakes on the 85 Monte Carlo that we're doing. We went over we did the Wilwood disc brakes front and rear on it. You can see we got the axles back out. We definitely got the longer wheel studs that we talked about. Let me get these two right here underneath you. This was the original wheel stud before, and this is the length that we're putting on now. You know, that longer length will give us the extra threads for the depth of the wheel spacing on the Forgiatos. So we got the new wheel studs in, they're longer. We got the old, when we was doing it, to take the axles out to be able to cut down the axle flanges to fit the bracket. Once we took the axles out, you might as well, you know, replace the bearings. These are the old bearings. We got a new bearing in. National brand, a good brand instead of the off brand. So we also, to take the axles out, we had to take the rear diff cover off. So we got a new gasket for that going on. It's just when you're doing it, you might as well go ahead and change out the parts. The seals as well as the bearings was replaced on both sides. So now it's just a matter of putting everything back together. Once it's done, we'll fill up the diff tube. We got the gear oil there. And then everything will go back together, and then we'll have our finished look with the wheel on, disc brake, everything on. We have the e-brake cable. That's one thing we didn't have. The old emergency brake that went into the drums would not work with the e-brake for the disc. So we had to get the Wilwood disc kit, e-brake cable. We have it installed. So now it's just a matter of buttoning everything up. You know, no rocks unturned. We got you covered.
I gotta get in here and get this on in that tiny little hole.
Live at VTSV Auto, man. I just want to let y'all know, if you remember the video from the rear, it wasn't a simple bolt in with these kits, and neither is the front. Obviously, he's modifying. This is your spindle. This is the piece that your wheel hub actually bolts to. you really got the work cut out for you. Number one, brake caliper will not fit or line up with the original spindle. You have to modify it. You have to cut a piece of the bracket off at the bottom as well as an ear at the top. Then you gotta shave it down and line everything up. After you do that, now you gotta drill, because one of the holes wasn't big enough. You gotta drill and tap the holes at the bottom and at the top. That holds the new disc brake caliper. See the two holes? Now to line up to put your disc brakes on. Before, the ears of the spindle was blocking the lineup. So we had to cut the top. I believe this one went here and the other one. But now that you cut them off, machine everything down, you can line it up and put everything together. We got Butch coming in by way of, is it DeLand? Daytona. You know, I remember one time somebody told me you could judge a mechanic based off of his tools. Well, he got some pretty nice tools, so he's starting out good, we'll just say the least. So we just, you know, we're looking to bring, you know, good guys in that can kind of complement us here at the family that's, you know, working at our speed. You know, obviously this is not a beginner shop, so you know, like, we need some help, maybe some helpers too, but most guys that come here, we need you to know your shit because of the type of cars that we build. You know what I'm saying? So we need, you know, we got another guy that's, you know, seems like he's working out real good. He's very enthusiastic. He's very passionate about what he has, you know, going on. So I like what I'm seeing so far. So we just gonna, you know, we throwing a couple things at him and, you know, seeing how he do with it. But he's doing good so far. And I like to see, you know, once we put it up, you know, he's a technician with what he got going on. And like I say, his enthusiasm is electric. So keep it coming.
That's your 3/8 thread tap. That's what you use to tap the threads here to make the bolts go in. It's a pain in the ass tapping it because it's not open on the backside. Tapping a closed hole. So every time you cut, you got metal shavings in the hole as you go. Now you got to spin it back out, blow out all the metal shavings, put more oil in it, go again with the tap. Till you get too many metal shavings, you know, and just keep doing it over and over. Plus, at the same time, you got to rock it back and forth to actually cut the threads in it. It's amazing what these things will do. This hole bottoms out. I didn't want to break this off in the hole. You can't drill this out. This is hardened steel. You'll break off drill bit after drill bit trying to drill this out. Yeah. You know? So I had to go very carefully until I knew I had enough that this is down tight and we're good.
That's the difference with the Wilwood, what I was telling you guys. You know, bear come fully assembled. Wilwood, you gotta build. You know, bears more money, but the price difference of you having to put this whole kit together is so it's like 6 in one hand, half dozen the other. You know what I'm saying? But Wilwood make great products. You know what I mean? And they have some high-end stuff too. I got Wilwood on my rear caddy, and you know those brakes is $3 grand. You know what I'm saying? So they got some high-end stuff too. But I like the fact that when the bear comes, the rear brakes you got to put together on both of them, bear, and because the rear you got to take the axles out and everything. So that's not a kit that can come fully assembled. The front can. Old original OEM disc front rotor, new 14-inch Wilwood 6-piston rotor. You know, machine hat. You got one bolt pattern. With the Wilwood, you get double bolt pattern, so you can go 5 on 4.5 or 5 on 4 3/4. They give you an option of 2, so now you have more variety of wheel choices once you have bolt pattern options. Six piston. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That's a single piston caliper. This is the front caliper that was on the G body. This is the new caliper, 6 piston, big boys from Wilwood. You know, this was what was on the front with this versus now this. So you know, just not even being on the car, not even understand braking dynamics, you know, Ray Charles can see the upgrade, you know. So I don't want to act like we'll know it all. I'm just letting you know we on top of our shit. Don't forget that. Don't forget that now. That's all I'm saying. No shade. But look how big those disc brakes is.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Compared to the other ones. Stopping power, man. Once we do the Hydro Boost conversion, we gotta worry about stopping.